Hello, I'm Natasha Hussein, and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. Every day, women navigate a world where their personal safety has to be one of their top priorities. We think twice about walking alone at night, plan our routes through well-lit areas, and always keep our phones or keys close by. It's a frustrating reality, and unfortunately, one that extends into the digital realm. The online landscape is where we live, work, and connect. Yet, it's also where women, girls, and marginalized individuals face new threats every day. The rise of image-based sexual abuse, blackmail, cyberbullying, cyberstalking, deepfakes, and doxing put women's digital safety in the spotlight. Research shows that women are disproportionately targeted by cyber harassment and stalking compared to men. According to the UN, a staggering 95% of online aggression, including harassment, abusive language, and denigrating content, is directed at women. Women involved in politics, journalism, activism, and sports are especially more vulnerable to online harm. But laws and regulations have been slow to catch up, with only 30% of countries worldwide offering legal protections against cyber harassment. That's why many women are taking charge in the digital realm, from using their social media platforms to educate others, to launching campaigns and organizing workshops.
We never want to give cyberbullies any power. Let's say somebody keeps sending you really awful messages. I mean, mean messages. How do we respond?
Never respond to a cyberbully, okay? They're going to say this, they're going to say that. They just want to get a reaction out of you, but you give them none.
Document everything. Take screenshots of everything. Keep everything. Tell as many of your close friends and family members as you can. Let them know about the situation.
Never ever post in real time. Never post photos of the front of your house. You never want anybody to be able to see your address or even know what your house looks like.
Always try to avoid sharing precise information that tells them when they can find you at any given point in time. For instance, I love my 8 a.m. Orange Theory class on Tuesdays.
Simply turn off location services for whatever camera app that you use, whether it's Android or iPhone. Remove meta tagging from photos.
Reach out to your local law enforcement agency.
As always, stay safe out there.
One woman that's been advocating online is Aisha Sawari, who joins us now from Pakistan's capital, Islamabad. She's the co-founder of an NGO, the Women's Advancement Hub, and the author of 2 books on feminism. Now, Aisha, thanks for joining us today. Now, why are women disproportionately targeted online?
Natasha, I think it starts with culture. It's quite obvious that in certain societies, women are just not welcome and they're not belonging in certain spheres. The internet is just a reflection of the same misogyny we see in actual society. You spoke about how women have to watch where they're going, how close their keys are to themselves, basically, essentially planning their exits in a very difficult situation where they will be harmed and where there will be violence with no recourse to justice. The internet's exactly like that for them. They're not supposed to be there. Whenever they are there, they're either slut-shamed, character assassinated, or stalked, and to a point that their online persona, can transfer offline, and their physical safety can be at threat. When the internet came, we were superbly happy that finally women can have a voice without having physical harm. But unfortunately, it's not given us that because all the violence and all the harm has been unfortunately transferred online.
Now, you say that essentially the internet is a reflection of the real world. So is it even worse for women of color online? Who is most vulnerable?
Certainly mostly women of color, in the intersectionality between women of color, probably poverty, middle class, conservative value sets. All of these are absolutely fine as long as you provide women the same resources that you provide any other citizen. The problem is that the internet is now the library of the world. And so if you're reducing women's access to it, making it more harmful for them to enter that certain sphere, you're limiting their access to resources from which the country benefits, from which societies and communities benefit.
All right, you're in Pakistan. What sort of threats or risks do you see towards women there in the digital realm?
You particularly mentioned some groups that have more threat, like journalists, because they are sort of, like I said, in the intersection of how not to behave. The best women in our societies are those that are most silent. When you have the internet and the power of the internet, suddenly your power magnifies, your voice magnifies, your ability to cross-cut across generations and across societies increases. Now that suddenly is something that anyone would like to control, anyone in power would like to control. So we've seen a lot of transference between even celebrities, harmless celebrities who are just doing entertainment on the internet. You suddenly see that they're sort of like mob lynched on the internet, and then offline their brothers kill them. This happened with one of the entertainers, Kandil Baloch, who was just considered to be harmless fun, and then suddenly she was honor killed. So, Natasha, what happens is that your entire society just gets reflected on the internet, and laws such as the Prevention of Electronics Crime Act is supposed to protect women from hate crime, from honor codes such as this, but has not been able to do so. According to the Digital Rights Foundation, I believe a couple of years ago, 44% of women online in Pakistan faced very severe harassment to a point that they wanted to exit and go quiet.
Another aspect of this is algorithms. Now, they've been fueling a new wave of misogyny online. How can we combat this?
Yeah, it's called the weapons of math destruction, where you have the incel groups that absolutely hate on women, and this is no exaggeration. There's a war on women. It started from the Gamergate community, where they just felt women should not be creating anything that the internet has. So I think the biggest threat to people who believe in a man's world is that the women will create the tools where they will be written out of. And I really hope as more and more brown women, women of South Asian descent, and Black women particularly enter the world of STEM, and technology and computer science, etc., they will be formulating a world that is inclusive. Hopefully, when more women enter those positions of algorithm creation rather than being victims of algorithm and just watching cat videos on Instagram, which I'm guilty of doing, I think we will see a real change.
All right, so obviously we need more women in tech. That's what a lot of people in the industry are also saying. Are there enough protections in place right now?
Certainly not. Certainly not. If something happens on the internet, the whole thing about doxing or harassment of women is unfortunately not controlled at all, although there has been some progress. And the reason for that is because the same people who create discrimination in society and in culture are the ones that are part of departments such as the FIA that is supposed to control internet harassment, because they feel, what were these women doing on the internet in the first place? What were they wearing? What was their profile picture? How did they call attention to themselves? And so therefore, there's a lot of victim blaming in the mentality of the people who are supposed to safeguard and protect the women. So I think we have a very long way to go, and it starts with leadership. My dream is to just see the Pakistani woman, the rural, underreached, underserved, or unserved Pakistani woman have a voice on the internet. We can create a world for them because they're the ones that are propping up this country.
Music by artists like Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, and Adele are returning to TikTok after the app and Universal Music reached a deal over royalty payments. The new licensing deal ends a 3-month standoff, which saw Universal pull all the music it owns, publishes, and distributes off the world's most influential social media platform. The new deal includes better remuneration for Universal artists and songwriters and protections against AI-generated content on TikTok. Universal is the world's biggest music company with a roster of artists including Ariana Grande, Olivia Rodrigo, Justin Bieber, and Drake. The new agreement ends the music industry's biggest dispute with a tech platform in years. It saw both sides publicly hurl accusations at each other, and artists concerned that their careers would be hurt from the absence of their music on TikTok. The app has become a vital promotional platform thanks to viral videos, and it's more than 1 billion users.
All of Taylor Swift's discography and all of her songs are coming back. All of Lady Gaga is coming back. Bob Dylan music is here perfectly in time for some really choice edits that we actually need. There's a lot of different things. You can listen to the song Fortnite while watching footage of the game Fortnite. There's things are going to start linking up here. Do you feel me? Do you understand? Your edits are back, y'all. Your thirst traps are back, and the right way. We don't have to pretend that the karaoke versions of songs is good anymore.
Are you sleeping through the alarms you set on your phone? Well, if you're an iPhone user, you may not be the problem. Some users have been complaining that their alarm clocks are simply not going off, causing them to miss important events. Some blame Apple's attention-aware feature, a setting where if a user is paying attention to the phone's sounds and other features may be turned down. So, sleeping with your face near the phone might be the culprit. Well, Apple says it will be releasing a fix soon so that none of its customers will be late to work because of it. If you're by any chance an older sibling like me, you might have heard about something called eldest daughter syndrome. Now, big sisters have found themselves a moment to shine online with a recent viral concept, often described as overachievers with an intense sense of responsibility and a tendency to please people. Though, to be honest, I don't think I share many of those traits. This very unofficial diagnosis has given way to endless discussions and memes.
Eldest daughter syndrome is not an official mental health diagnosis. It's a term coined to describe the unique pressures and responsibilities placed onto the oldest daughter in the family. In short, those of us with EDS are responsible for more domestic labor than our siblings. And here are the 8 signs that you have it. Number 1, you have an intense feeling of responsibility. 2, you are an overachiever, type A, and very driven. 3, you worry a lot and probably have anxiety. 4, you struggle with people-pleasing behaviors. 5, you have a hard time placing and upholding boundaries. 6, you resent your siblings and family. 7, you struggle with feelings of guilt. And 8, you have a difficult time in your adult relationships.
And our last story today is equally as unhinged as our last story. Well, you'll see. Istanbul is known for its cats. Open up any app, and many of those viral feline videos you see will likely be from the streets of this very city. We have ticket inspector cats on the subway, cashier cats at stores, security cats at the doors, but one of them is not as easygoing as others. Meet Yedi Bella Husnu, a notorious kitty who essentially controls its street. His name translates as Seven Sins Husnu. He's named after a troublesome movie character from the 70s. Husnu has caused a viral stir here for being the ultimate gangster. We leave you with some of his antics.